The HORL2 rolling knife sharpener set has to be the easiest way to put a really sharp edge on your favorite blades. I keep seeing these bearing knife sharpeners on my timeline every day, so I decided to get in touch with the company that invented this rolling knife sharpener system because I wanted to try it out and make a review. Now, we didn't just stop there. We also went out and purchased 2 copycats off of Amazon so we could compare the results to the HORL2 rolling knife sharpener system. So this is the HORL2 rolling knife sharpener kit, and basically you get a rolling sharpener here that has on one side a honing disc, which is ceramic. On the other side is the sharpening disc, which is a diamond grit. And it's really easy. You have these large rubber feet or kind of rubber wheels, if you will. They're O-rings, and by the way, mounted in bearings. You can see how well this rotates. In fact, we'll compare this to some others here in just one moment. But really awesome German engineering. The Horl brand's been around since 1993. From the Horl family and made in the Black Forest in Germany. So this is German made, German quality, German engineered. Now you have a magnetic block here that holds your knife. On one side you have a 15 degree, on the other side you have a 20 degree. Now most of your US style knives are going to be your 20 degree version. If not, you probably already know that, but if you got like a Damascus or a Japanese knife, something like that, sometimes it may be in the 15 to 17 degree range as well. But typically you will know that. For the most part, you could probably stick with the 20 degrees. Now, have really strong magnets here on this and have a blade right here. And you can see that that holds really, really well. Even though I'm shaking this knife, it's holding on there and not falling off. See, it has no problem holding that knife and doing the same with the block in hand as well. And basically all you're going to do is lay that knife down on the table, put it against the Horl block, and then start with your diamond grit. And you're just going to, you don't have to do full strokes here. You're just going to roll it back and forth. And you're going to do this until you get a burr. Well, how do you know you have a burr? Well, you can take your finger and be very careful. You don't want to go against the blade, but you can just kind of pull up on it and you'll feel where there's a burr where it's kind of catching. So the first of the sharpening method is to get that burr. Now this is not going to be like a whetstone where you kind of have to pull it at an exact angle and things like that. That's what your block is doing here. It's setting that angle, and then you're just taking the HORL2 rolling sharpener here and rolling it against that edge. Now, on a long knife with a long drop point on it like this one, when you get down here, you do have to turn it just a bit. But again, with these small strokes back and forth, you can easily get the feel for this. And just make sure you're making contact, and you don't have to have really strong contact. Just make sure you're getting thorough contact. And probably after about a minute on this right here, you can feel that now there's kind of a catch on that as I pull up, and that's created that burr. It's kind of rounding it over. So next what we want to do, we want to take the knife. And by the way, there's instructions right here. And the instructions are really clear. And it's basically start with step 1, step 2, step 3, flip it over, and by 9 steps, you're cleaning the knife and done. And I'll show you what they're talking about. So now I've got the burr on one edge, and so we want to take this knife, we want to flip it around 180 degrees, put it back on the block, and now we're going to stay with that diamond grit, and we're going to do the opposite side of the knife. Again, small short strokes, and make sure you're contacting the whole blade, and you may have to turn it. When we get down here, you can see I'm at an angle a little bit right here, not straight on. And after about a minute on that side, and you should have a burr now starting on the other side. Now we're just going to clean that burr off with the honing disc. So you don't have to flip the knife yet. Flip the sharpener over, and now with the honing disc, going to feel a lot smoother. You're not going to hear as much kind of grinding, if you will. And then we'll take the knife again, flip it back over 180, and this should be the last pass with the rolling sharpener. Again, it'll sound and feel a lot cleaner, like you're using some really fine sandpaper on something. And that's exactly what you're doing here. And we're just cleaning up that burr that we've created with the sharpening side. You can even feel this on the diamond side. You can kind of feel the grit. On the honing side, it really feels pretty smooth. And now what we want to do, we want to clean up this edge. Now we can do this, we could just kind of wipe it down carefully with a rag or something like that, a clean rag. However, if you can, take a leather strop. Now you can get this from Horl. Actually, they sent this as the premium kit where we get a strop with it. And basically now we just want to take this blade and we want to go kind of with the blade, if you will. We're not going against it. And that leather is just gently kind of buffing up like you'd be buffing a car, polishing a car. It's polishing the edge of that blade for us. In fact, after a while, after you do a couple of sharpenings, you'll notice this strop gets kind of dirty. And it's basically that metallic that's coming off of this blade when you're taking the metal off. And now you're leaving it down there on the leather strop. And you're not going to hurt anything to do this for a while. You don't have to do it for long. But again, we're just polishing up that blade, that edge. And so now, nice sharp edge on that knife. So that took all of about 3 minutes to do that knife. And I will tell you, it was pretty dull. In fact, this whole block of knives are pretty dull. In fact, we're going to make sure they're dull. So again, let's take a look here at the HORL2 and you'll see how tight all the tolerances are, how everything just rolls really, really smooth. And we're going to compare these to some of Amazon's best, if you will. So you know when you're looking on Amazon, you always see those advertisements of things that may be competitors to the name brands that are out there. Same thing with Horl. So Horl started this whole thing, and of course you're going to get copycats out there that think they can do it as good just because they may look the part, especially on TV or online. And right away, I will tell you, and by the way, these were the ones when you go on there and it says like Amazon's best choice or this selected for you, something like that. Both these were those. We bought these with our own money and we wanted to compare them. Now, I will tell you right away, I can look, and in fact, I'm going to take the back side of my blade here, and you can see in the gap of that roller, I can fit the back of my knife blade, not the blade part, but the back side of the blade in there. And just about on this one too, I can definitely fit the tip down in there. So even the tolerances on these right away do not stand to the test of what the Horl is. Also, the rotating. They're not too bad, but again, you can see that rolls and rolls and rolls. So I'll start this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I had to roll this one several times in the time that I just rolled this one once. And by the way, me rolling that with my finger, look what has happened on this. So this is already unscrewing. And that's what we've noticed in using these is that the ends like to unscrew on that one. Where on these, you really have to put some pressure and then you can unscrew them. And by the way, you can also buy finer polishing discs, such as in the premium kit here where we have on the back side, I think that's 3,000 grit and then 6,000 grit right here. So you can really get fine, or even into their ultra fine where you can get it and really start getting into a polished edge. In fact, that's hidden in some microfiber towel right there. So we're going to compare these to the Horl. First up, we're going to grab this one here. Yeah, it looks like they copied the block pretty well. They got the 20 degrees on one side, the 15 degrees on the other. And I can feel the indentions right here with my fingers, like where the magnet doesn't come all the way to the edge. And that's another thing I noticed. On this, we have a nice like silicone face, if you will. It's not just a piece of rubber. Also, there's no indentions whatsoever. I feel just a nice flat surface there. So they have their magnets perfect somewhere behind these. This one here, I can feel the indentions there, and I believe that's just a piece of just some type of rubber that's glued on there, not a high-grade silicone. Anyway, we're going to use it. So first thing, let me grab another knife here. we'll grab this knife out. We're going to put this one aside. And just to make this interesting, so 5 strikes right across the steel. That's probably not very good on a blade. Yeah. You see, I can't even try to get it started. It just wants to rip. So not very good on that blade. Anyway, we're going to take the instructions and we're going to follow along. And first thing, so I'm going to use the 20 degree, put it on there. And I can tell, by the way, it really don't have that strong of a grab. And watch this. Falls right off, and I'm not shaking that hard at all. I'll take the same knife with the Horl, and you can see there how well that is grabbed. Again, take the block and shake it. And again, knife doesn't even slide. If I take the same test here, put the knife on it and shake it, the knife either slides or it falls off. So right away, the magnets aren't near as good, nor is the face as refined. So on this one, I believe same idea. So they've copied pretty well. Diamond on one side. Oh no, I'm sorry. It must be diamond on both. This feels a little grittier here. And so I'm supposed to start on that side. And so you see right away. So I'm going to get out here to the tip. And you see what's happening back here. It's actually separating itself from the block. Now, I can make that do that on the Horl as well. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, when you get out here and you have more leverage, that's going to happen. But with not near as much force on this one, it's pushing that away, which basically you're losing your angle of that 20 degrees. Feels like it's maybe doing what it should be. Yeah, we definitely got a burr. So I'm going to flip this over. But again, you see when I get out here, it's separating itself from the knife and the block. Flip over and hold it. Again, no matter what I do, once I get out here, I'm getting separation back here on this magnet. And since we didn't get a strop with this, we'll use the Horl strop, make things somewhat even as we can. And so it's definitely better. It's at least cutting, but not cutting that well. So let's put this one aside. And then I'm going to take the one that I've already sharpened with the Horl. I'm going to go ahead and ruin that blade again. So 10 strikes across the steel. And just like the other, it's no edge on here at all. We've just ruined it. Yeah, in fact, it feels nice and round. You can see it's not grabbing my finger at all. I shouldn't be doing that, but yeah. So there's no edge on that blade at all. So now we'll show the Horl cleaning this up, and then we'll jump to the other Amazon copycat as well. Again, we're going to use the 20 degree, and you'll see how well that grabs onto there. Just so easy to do so. And start with a diamond grit. And you see I'm out here on the tip, and that knife's not coming off that block. Now again, I could really push. Man, I'm really pushing. And it's trying to separate, but it's really kind of staying well. Close. And again, you see how far back I have that knife, so there's more leverage out here on the tip, and I'm still not separating it from that block. The thing I really like about the Horl system is that there's tons of people that are a little anxious about sharpening a knife. They're not sure about how to hold the angle on a whetstone, or how to get started, or maybe that they'll mess something up. And it's really hard to mess something up with this system. Again, you can follow their easy step-by-step system, but I think you could probably even figure it out if you didn't have instructions. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to hone it. And it's already cleaning up. You can feel it. strop it up here with the leather strop. Now I'll take that same paper, and now we've put a really sharp edge back onto that same knife that we just rubbed across that steel. And finally, let's take the other copycat here, and as we mentioned before, just the tolerances aren't near as tight on this one. Again, the rolling of the bearings not near as smooth either. So copycat by looks, but performance, I'm not sure. This one has more of a ceramic side and a diamond grit side. But this is not exactly comforting when you get a rolling knife sharpener and then they have kind of a conventional style sharpener here on the top. I guess that's if this doesn't work, or maybe you can quickly do that. I'm not sure. This is ceramic here, but that's more of a cutter. And then I don't know, maybe that's for scissors or something. But anyway, 15 degrees on this side, it's marked right there, and 20 degrees on this side. So we'll grab another knife, and again, 5 times across the steel. Of course, the Horl we did 10 times, and probably not going to be a good sharp. Yeah, again, might be able to saw through it, but it's obviously not very sharp. Still a little bit of an edge on there, not like the other one where it was just rounded. But anyway, we're going to start with the 20 degree. This is a little bit bigger block than the Horl and the other, so maybe it'll grab better. Not a chance. Okay, so again, showing the magnet test there that just a little shake and it comes right off. You can't even pick it up with the knife staying on there. So that's not very comforting when I'm rolling this roller across there trying to sharpen that, but let's give it a go anyway. This is a shorter knife, but definitely the shortest of the 3. So hopefully it'll grab a little bit better because there's not as much leverage out on the end. And again, you can tell on these copycats, they just don't roll near as smooth. Put the knife over, again on the sharpened side. Flip it over, use the hone. Oh, let me tighten those back up. There we go. And I used this once before, and you can see, I don't know if you can see on the tip of this blade, it's like blue. It's like this, whatever this is, that's supposed to be ceramic, is actually coming off. Like it kind of grinds away on the blade and leaves this blue dust. Again, not very comforting. And you can see it dusting away right there. So I think that stuff should be a lot harder than that, than to be able to, for the steel to be able to just kind of rub that away. So that doesn't give me a good feeling when I'm trying to sharpen a knife. You're trying to whittle away at the steel, not whittle away at your whetstone or your rolling sharpener. Again, I think you can see that now of all the blue dust around there. Okay. Take that same paper. Not too bad. It's kind of sawing at it. I can kind of feel it. And it's kind of tearing. You can kind of hear it tear, but not too bad of a job, but not near as smooth and not as effective. Now let's go ahead and take the same knife and we'll clean it up here on the Horl. You see how well it's grabbing on there? It's not moving around. And then on the honing disc here, on the ceramic disc, I'm not seeing any dust fly off of it like I did on the other. And a lot smoother, not a grinding sound on the honing side, just once it cleans that edge a few strokes, it just really, can just barely feel it polishing that edge. And we'll strop it up here. Anytime you can use a leather strop on an edge when you're done sharpening, it's always going to help polish that edge, refine it just a little bit better. And now that same knife, just cutting through it, not sawing through it at all. So you can definitely tell a difference from the Horl system to the copycats that are from Amazon. This kit here is going to run you about $200. I think it's like $190 here in the US. And that will come with this rolling sharpener and this block right here. It'll come in this box right here. And by the way, packaged beautifully as well. Again, the German engineering all the way through even to the packaging. And then if you step up to the premium kit, the premium kit's then going to get you this leather strop, as well as the 3000 grit and the 6000 grit. And then again, even if you want to step up to an ultra fine stone as well, you can do so. So really like this system. Very well built. Again, you can kind of see the engineering through and through with this system. We'll have a link to this in the description. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Have a great day and keep smiling.